This is a Ridstar Q20, and this right here, oh man, even though it's smaller, it's definitely not lighter. This right here is a mini Ridstar Q20, or as you guys have told me, the Q16. The Q20 is still one of my favorite e-bikes that I've ever tested, and it really does stand out in a competitive moped style e-bike segment. So one of the issues with the original Q20 is that it wasn't great for smaller people. As you can see, there's no height adjustment on the seat at all, so if you were smaller, you might not be very comfortable on the regular Q20. And that is where this new Q16 comes in. It is basically the same exact bike as that Ridstar Q20 over there, just shrunken down a little bit. Or is it? The design looks really familiar, taken from the Ridstar Q20 frame and just making it more accessible. Surprisingly, it looks like they just took the same main chassis from the Q20, changed the rear swing arm and front forks to accommodate the smaller 16-inch wheels. And if you like the design of the Q20, you're definitely going to like the design of the Q16. The only major design change seems to be the design of the wheels on the Q16. The front fork is unbranded, and the rear shock I've seen before and is actually more comfortable than the shock that was included on the big Q20. The Q16 also comes with the same 48-volt 20-amp-hour battery as its big brother, so you can expect the same amazing range of the Q20. I took it on a ride of over 25 miles and still had about 30 to 40% battery left, and that was all while riding on throttle only. So at this price point, you're not really expecting many name brand or high quality parts as it is, but that doesn't mean that this bike isn't a good value. With all that being said, what's this thing like on the road to ride? Like the regular Q20, the Q16 is a surprisingly good off-road bike for a hub motor e-bike that's 48 volts. It's no dirt bike, but it's definitely fun to get you off the beaten trail and even do some little jumps like that. Those 16x4-inch knobby tires certainly help you out off-road, and this comfy suspension helps absorb all of those bumps off-road and on the road too. It makes these trails like this feel really good, and this, I would say, even has better suspension than the Q20 does. You can just cook on this off-road stuff here. This is an awesome, you can even do jumps. This is such a fun bike, even for off-road. I'm really impressed by this bike's off-road capability, just like I was impressed with the Q20 years ago. So if you watch the first video, the unboxing video on this bike, you'll know that this isn't necessarily an off-road hill climber, but you know, I have it down in first gear and I can kind of help it up this hill. My feet are kind of dragging on the grass too, because this is a really low bike since this is a lot smaller than the regular Q20. So the performance on this bike is pretty good, especially for a bike around $1,000, especially a bike of this size. This thing really is kind of unexpected. If you looked at this thing, I don't think you really expect it to have the performance that it does, but it just feels really great. The frame itself, the main chassis, actually seems like it's about the same size as the Q20. Really what I think they did is change out the front forks and that rear swing arm so that they could fit a smaller wheel and tire on this, but overall I think it's pretty much the exact same chassis as the Q20, and that means that you get the same great quality of the Q20 chassis. To this day, I put over 1,000 miles on that bike and I still don't have any squeaks or rattles or weird sounds. You know, this is just really quiet on here. Sometimes you can hear the controller rattle around a little bit, but honestly, this is one of the best and most refined moped style e-bikes that I've ever ridden. If you like the Q20, you're probably gonna like the Q16 because it's basically the Q20 just shrunken down a little bit. The acceleration and the performance on the Q16 or Q20 Mini is just about the same as on the Q20. The one big thing that I noticed when I was riding the Q16 is that the rear hub motor is a lot louder than the Q20. Now, it's not super loud by any means, but you just can still hear it when you're accelerating. On the Q20, it's almost completely silent even when you're accelerating, even under load. Now, that's not a deal breaker by any means, especially if you have knobby tires, because the knobby tires are going to be pretty loud on any bike, but really you still get that same great ride quality on the Q16 that you do on the Q20. So the big difference with the Q16 between the Q20 is the brakes. On the Q20 you get hydraulic, and on this you get cable brakes. And I'll be the first to admit that these cable brakes feel fine, especially for what this bike is capable of, about 30 miles an hour. The brakes feel okay on this bike, they're adequate, but the Q20 has some of the best hydraulic brakes I've ever felt on an electric bike. That's one of the reasons I really loved it, was because for the price you got some amazing brakes, and that's something that a lot of manufacturers kind of cheap out on or just give you the absolute bare minimum. The Q16 looks like it uses the same screen and controls as the Q20 Lite. Instead of a display in the middle of the handlebars like the regular Q20, it has a screen and controls on the left side of the handlebars, and on the right you get your headlight and horn button. The display is just a little bit basic and it refreshes a little slow, but it shows a lot of info like the odometer, voltage, and a trip computer. Again, it is slightly disappointing that you have to pay the same or even a little bit more for the Q16 and you get slightly worse components. So where does this leave the Q16? Is it a good value? When you think about it, the lesser display, the lack of hydraulic brakes, for around the same price as a full-size Q20, it just isn't the value bike that the Q20 was. But you still are getting what I think is an amazing e-bike here. If you really love the styling of the Q20, but you really just can't fit on it properly and it's not gonna be comfortable for you, then I would say absolutely go for the Q16. With all that being said, I absolutely recommend the Q16 if you're in the market and you don't mind paying a little bit more. But if you're just looking for a 16-inch e-bike like the Q16, I think there are some better options out there on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm taking this back, by the way. I'm taking this away. And this one too. I love both my Ridstars.